Hi guys, welcome back. Housewife historian here to talk the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Ronald Richards, Erica Jane, Tom Girardi, this whole feud over the Pasadena mansion, and who's Ronald Richards. If you guys have not watched my last two-part series on Erica Jane and Ronald Richards, the attorney who has helped the trustees try to liquidate and find funds that were hidden by Tom and Erica in an effort to get those funds back to the victims and debtors that they are owed to. Tom and Erica allegedly could have potentially hidden a lot of money. We know at one point that Tom Girardi had claims that he had up to $50 million in cash. So there's a good chance that there's a lot of money stashed away, offshore accounts. We just don't quite know where. And so the trustees and Ronald Richards, when he was working with the trustees, were trying to liquidate the funds that they could find, such as the Pasadena mansion, cars, etc., etc. And then, of course, try to find other things to liquidate as well. For example, the earrings that Erica had to return. Okay, those were the trustees filed that. They did, their due diligence. They went back on the paperwork. They were able to find a large sum of a case settlement that was transferred into the attorney account that should have been distributed to the victims, but instead Tom went to a jewelry store and bought Erica, I don't know, was it like almost $750,000 diamond earrings. So anyways, guys, we're going to do a whole nother video on the difference between Erica and Jen Shah's cases, why we're going to see Jen Shah actually do prison time, and why we're going to see Erica, she is only going to probably owe a lot of money. She could potentially be in trouble because she does have unpaid taxes, and we know that there's a lot of rich and famous people who have tried not to pay their taxes and they ended up in prison as well. Anyways, guys, this video is just going to stick to the Ronald Richards drama and the feud, and particularly the Pasadena mansion. Before we get started though, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on. Been on vacation this week, so I haven't been putting up as much content as I normally would, but you should definitely hit that follow, turn those notifications on. Okay, anyways, who is Ronald Richards? Guys, we talked about this before in my last two-part series. He's an attorney. He particularly works in the area of the 90210 Beverly Hills. We remember him because he was also Russell Armstrong's attorney. If you guys remember season 2, I think, of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Taylor Armstrong was married to Russ Armstrong. He unfortunately, sadly, unalived himself, and Ronald Richards was actually his attorney, and he did a small interview with TMZ after Russ unalived himself because he owed a lot of debt. He owed a lot of people, and we go into detail about that in some of my other videos about how, Ronald had to try to protect Taylor as well because that was his client's wife, and Russ had business partners that were coming after Taylor for her engagement ring, for bags, for all sorts of things because there was so much debt owed when he died. But that's how we know Ronald Richards, originally. Now, when all of this took place, guys, Ronald Richards took to Twitter. He never was on Twitter before Erica Jane, okay? And he started tweeting about this case. And he was working with the trustees at one point, but then he did get off of the case. But he's been riding Erica since day one. We talk about in the other video how Erica and his wife have went at it on Instagram several different times. The comments have been such deleted, but they were very, very vulgar, but a great read. Now, here is the crazy thing. After I posted that, Ronald Richards announced that him and his wife are basically putting in an offer on Tom and Erica's Pasadena mansion, guys. Let me say that one more time. This is so crazy, right? So, because Tom and Erica have filed bankruptcy, they're getting a divorce, they all have this money, and Tom is allegedly, sick with dementia. The trustees want to sell this home as soon as possible. Why would they want to sell it, guys? Well, number one, the market could potentially go either way. We don't know because everything's so crazy. Gas prices, all of this craziness makes for an unstable market. And the trustees we talked about this, guys. They get a percentage of the funds that they, find. I don't know if they get a percentage of funds that all they have to do is liquidate. Like in this case, all they have to do is sell this home. I don't think they're going to get 40%. If they do, that's really messed up, but I don't think that's the case because the home was already the trust and already part of the estate. So it's not something that they had to do research on to find and then liquidate. So the home is sort of baggage because a home this size takes maintenance. It takes gardeners. You got an electric bill. You got a gas bill. You got to have people going in and out and checking on things. Like, it's not, you don't want to leave it just set, right? Because the longer it sits, the longer it's going to take to sell. Okay. People wonder why a home's been on the market for 6 months when other homes are hitting the market and they're being sold in the same day. So it makes for skeptical buyers, for one. Number two, like I said, the cost, the upkeep to keep the home viewable so that they can even try to sell it. Okay, gardeners, all of the utilities, those such a things. Those are monthly things that they have to pay, and that's money that could be going to victims, but instead it's got to go towards the mansion and the upkeep, okay? Now get this, guys. So for those reasons, the trustees are ready to sell, as soon as they can basically get a buyer, and they have found a buyer in Ronald Richards and his wife, okay? They have put in an offer to buy Tom and Erika's Pasadena mansion. This is crazy, guys, for a couple of reasons. We've never seen something like this happen, number one. Number two, Erika is already very bothered by Ronald Richards, and I went into this in my last video to explain to everyone why it was so important and why it is really, I don't even know what the word is, but why it's just very, very important that we've had Ronald Richards tweeting with his legal background, with his legal education, keeping viewers up to date, explaining to us what's going on, posting the docket, court paperwork directly to Twitter and keeping us up to date. And I think that that's been pretty priceless in this case, because if not, Erika and Tom would be selling us oceanfront property in Nebraska. Okay. Erika already tried it one season, right? She tried it. Viewers were not buying it, and she would have tried it again. And it would have been a lot easier for her had there not been someone on Twitter like Ronald Richards answering legal questions for viewers and explaining to them what is really going on here. Now, a couple of interesting things that we need to consider about this case right now. Number one, Ronald Richards is saying that Tom Girardi is calling him. Okay? Let me find out Tom Girardi up here in this old folk home. Okay, probably living the worst this is probably like jail to Tom Girardi compared to having maids, cooks, top of the line, everything, sheets, blankets. The respect of the community, going wherever, doing whatever, he's in a nursing home. He basically has a cot and 3 meals a day. Okay. He's in a standard nursing home. It's like $10,000 a month. Where I'm from, $10,000 a month will get you a private room in a nursing home. So it is possible that he does have a private room. If not, he's in a very small room with another person. And it was probably like hell to him. Can you imagine what he thinks of the food? Can you imagine what he thinks of the service? Can you imagine when he can't get his meds, when he can't get something to drink, eat? I just think that if he doesn't have dementia, it's got to be like hell to him. Anyways, he's calling Ronald Richards. He's calling Ronald Richards for depositions. He's leaving voicemails. Ronald Richards posted it. I saved it. I recorded it. I can try to post it in my short stories. I don't know if YouTube will keep it up or not, but he's calling Ronald Richards. First of all, how did he get Ronald's cell phone number? He must have contacts. He must be talking to other people. He's in the old folk home working on his case, basically. What is there left to salvage? Erika says that he calls her every day. That must mean that he probably has a cell phone in there. We know he has a brother that helps him, and he does have children. We never saw them on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and there's about 000 information on them. P.S. We know that the one daughter's husband worked at the firm, and that there was some alleged, skepticism around him and his business dealings as well, because of course he was working at the firm and he was working for his father-in-law, Tom Girardi. It's just really crazy to think, guys. Now, here's something else that has happened that's pretty interesting. Now, so Tom has called Ronald. Now he has filed, he has an individual that's representing him that's like an unknown attorney that's not affiliated with anyone or anything. So we don't really know who this attorney is that filed this paperwork on Tom's behalf. But it's basically like a clause to get him credit for some of the belongings that were in the home, okay? And some of the things that he listed were a rug that was worth $500, a brown couch, a sofa in the sitting room. He listed Deborah's bedroom suit, which I'm assuming is Deborah is his daughter. Her bedroom suit, pricing it at $2,000. They mentioned planterns twice. The planterns in the back for like $550, the planters in the front along the driveway for $350, and then a $14,000 piano. Okay, guys, it's just craziness. This is not something that you would typically. Yes, guys, so Tom Girardi actually had the audacity to file some paperwork stating items in the home that he allegedly would like basically taken off of his debt. He's basically saying these items are left in the home, and therefore whoever buys the home, would be responsible for reimbursing him and Erika, these items that he has listed as we spoke. So it's just crazy, guys. Again, Tom Girardi donated a lot of money to local politics, to state politics, to judges, prosecutors, all sorts of different people. So it's very, it's rough ground right now for people because, again, attorneys, good attorneys like Ronald Richards, who really feel like Tom Girardi did people wrong, did victims wrong, it goes up a little bit higher than Tom Girardi, because who allowed Tom Girardi to go on for 10 years knowing that he was, shorting people, ripping people off? The California State Bar did. That's who, guys. And then we have to think about, well, who else is responsible for allowing this sort of activity to go on? And should there be an investigation? And once that investigation's open, it's a whole nother can of worms, right? So once it would leave LAPD's hands, it would go to state and then federal prosecutors. And if there's any ties to local authorities or politicians or people who are still in office that Tom Girardi possibly donated money to their campaign, it could open a big can of worms and cause a lot of people a lot of headaches and problems, and they don't want to deal with it. They would rather think that Tom Girardi is just not able to hurt anyone else and he is alone in a nursing home somewhere, and they don't give an F about Erika, to be honest with you. I think, guys, if something were to happen to Tom, if he dies, and there's still like a statute of limitations in effect that they could prosecute Erika, sure. Is there a possibility Erika could see jail time? She does owe $2.5 million in taxes. Yes, that is scary, guys. There are a lot of rich people who owe taxes and went to prison. You have to pay your taxes, okay? A couple of other things. I know I've said this before, guys, but Tom Girardi kept paper files on people. He kept paper files on his clients. Can you imagine 60 years of paper files? The people that he worked with, A-list celebrities, again, a lot of politicians, a lot of political people, a lot of police officers, things of those nature. He had files on everyone. And when this all transpired, the government went in hazmat and went in and took boxes and boxes and boxes out of Tom's office, okay? The man had paper files and he had things on everyone. And this is a lot of the reason that it's possible the money that, allegedly that Tom Girardi, he had over $50 million in cash allegedly at one time. So a lot of people speculate that there's money in safety deposit boxes, there's money buried, there's money in overseas accounts, there's money, there's cash, there's something somewhere, okay? Like, we know they blew a hell of a lot of money, but the likelihood that there's money stashed somewhere is very likely, okay? Tom's in this nursing home. It's still costing $10,000 a month. Who's paying that? His brother's a dentist, so I'm not sure how well off his brother really would be. I just think that it's really crazy how everything is circling around and how Ronald Richards and his wife are about to buy this Pasadena mansion. I just cannot even believe it. And I think it's exciting because I think he is going to give viewers an inside look in that mansion. And that's something that Erica doesn't want everyone to see. And I cannot wait for it, guys. So anyone that's not supporting Ronald Richards right now, you might be by the time all this is said and done with, because the man is, I hate to even say that he's exposing Erica, but he sort of is, because we know Bravo's giving her a good edit. We know that, you know, she gets away with a lot. She gets away with a lot with Andy. She gets away with a lot with the entire network, with the way her edit is. And so I think that, it's a whole different tune when it comes to Ronald Richards, because he also, you know, he enjoys exposing her. And so I'm here for it. If you guys aren't, that's okay, but I'm going to report on it. And I can't wait to see what he shows us from inside the walls of that Pasadena mansion, because I don't know. I just think that there's a really big story here, more than the Hulu documentary and more than we will ever know for a very long time, and probably won't know until this house is cleared out, and maybe even possibly before Tom, you know, passes away, before people really know exactly what was transpiring. Okay. Now, I get a lot of questions about Jen Shah and Erica Jane, the difference, why Jen Shah, you know, maybe her crimes aren't as bad as Erica's. Why is Jen Shah going to prison and Erica is not? And I'm going to do a whole video breaking all of that down for you guys, because it's a really great question. And I'm going to give you the judicial answer, you know, why in the world someone could steal millions of dollars from victims and not be charged criminally, when Jen Shah, you may have stolen way less money, like $6 million versus $20 million, and she could possibly go to jail for 30 years, and Erica will see zero. You know, she right now has no criminal charges, and neither does Tom. He has no criminal charges as well. And like we spoke, he's calling and leaving Ronald Richards voicemails. Now, here is the last part I'm going to touch on real quick, guys. Ronald Richards' wife, she's just as I don't even know the word. I don't even want to say that Ronald's vivacious, but that's what she seems like. She's very youthful, like, has a lot of energy to me. I felt like I loved her comments back and forth with Erica. I felt like she really, really held her own going back and forth with Erica. I love that they shared them and let us, you know, see them before they deleted the comments back and forth. And even after Laura saw the paper, the filing from Tom Girardi regarding, you know, the items in the home that were, you know, valued at $2,000. She even tweeted at Erica and put like planters, ... question mark, like, really? Y'all are really trying to say these planters in your front yard are worth $2,000 and the one in the back are worth $3,500? Like, come on now. And so I thought that was funny. And I had to tell you guys that the person that actually put me on to all of the Ronald Richards drama between Erica and Ronald was a viewer named Stayce, and she's great, and I just want to shout her out and tell her that I appreciate her and all of her comments and information that she gives us, because she turned me on real quick as to, you know, when it was happening, and so I was able to kind of get up to speed, and that's why I was able to drop a video on Monday about it, because she got it to me right away, and I was able to get you guys some information. So thank you, Stayce. And anyone else that has comments or information, we love tea. So please comment, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn your notifications on. You don't want to miss what I'm posting. I always have juicy stuff. I was slacking this week because I've been on vacation, but I will be back full force this weekend, Monday, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, just wanted to drop you guys this video about the Ronald Richards buying Erica's Pasadena home. So excited. I hope that they can close this deal like so fast and we can get in behind the doors of that mansion and find out really what was going on. Now, Erika moved out. She knew, she was able to move her stuff. So I'm sure she probably was mindful of what she took, personal items and such. Memorabilia, if you will, or she at least thinks that she wouldn't want people to see. She probably packed away or threw away or got a storage unit. I mean, maybe we're lucky and she left some things there that Ronald will find. I, am just praying that he finds like a personal journal of Tom, because that would be a great book, and that he would monopolize off of it, so we would definitely get to read it. And, I'm just shouting out Ronald Richards again, guys, because like I said, his wife holding her own, taking it with a grain of salt, giving Erika what she's, giving her right back. And we know that people have a hard time stepping up to Erika. We're seeing it right now in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. P.S. I am going to be doing a review. We'll be dropping tomorrow, hopefully, on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills review. So I definitely want to get a live into this weekend. So, comment, guys, if you want to do a live or good times or days that work good for you. All right, guys, have a great day.